We'll start with our prayer. একটু হামিং হচ্ছে, একটুখানি ইকো মনে হচ্ছে যেন। We'll start with our prayer. Here, now it is okay, I think. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Aviravirmayedhi. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Akhandam Satchidanandam Avang Manasagocharam Atmanam Akhiladharam Asraye Bhishta Siddhaye. Let we be protected, let we be nourished. Let we strive with energy and vigor. Let our study be enlightening and not give rise to hostility. Om, peace, peace, peace. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment and not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman grow in me. Om, peace, peace, peace. I take refuge in the self, the indivisible, the existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, beyond the reach of words and thought, and the substratum of all, for the attainment of my cherished desire. We are studying Vedantasara, the gist of Vedanta. So here, mostly it is definitions. The definitions should be clear. For any legal documents we find, first they decide what are the terms and terminology and what those terms and terminology mean. Similarly, in even medicine also, so that we can pinpoint what it is and what it is not. What is positive? Positive means what it indicates and what it does not indicate. So both ways, when it is seen, whatever is the meaning and what it does not denote. So this is very important. That is why here we find it's a bit pedantic. Vivek, Vairagya. How these are explained. Whereas in the life of Sri Ramakrishna or his teachings, what we find? Vyakulata. Vyakulata means that restlessness. But restlessness is not the right word. The eagerness, total eagerness. I don't want anything else. I want this object. So this is defined that way, Vyakulata, earnestness, eagerness. Actually, there is no exact translation of that word, Vyakulata. I don't want anything else. So to show this, here we find the definition is given, Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivek. First one should have that understanding, discernment, what is eternal, what is non-eternal. And when that is fixed, then whatever is temporary, one is not interested in the temporary things. In Sri Ramakrishna's term, direct, it is Vyakulata. I don't want anything. O mother, show me your benign face. I don't want anything else. Name, fame, money, all these I don't want. So there it is Vyakulata, but here it is scientifically, the name is given scientifically, so that there should not be any dispute. One more thing, why we dwell the same thing over and over again? The purpose is, religion or spirituality is practice. It is not that we know lots of things. Whatever we know, that should be practiced. So, when we cultivate things, like one can ask a singer, why you all the time same notes, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa, or do, re, ga, ma, or whatever, the Western music, why the same note? One can ask, why you eat the same thing over and over again? But people don't ask that. What they do, whenever spiritual matters, then why it is repeated so much? It is repeated because we don't behave that way. Until or unless it is clear, we are not keen, no, we are not interested to practice it. That is why, say Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivek, we have heard so many times, but again we falter. But one cannot progress in spiritual life until or unless he follows the Nitya Vastu. It is like traveling on a road. One does not turn anywhere and everywhere. Rather, one sets the goal and only he turns where it is required. All other he considers that anitya, that means not interested. So nitya anitya vastu vivek, ihamutra phalbhoga virat. So these are very important. One should be very alert, watchful, discern about what is nitya vastu. This is to be practiced. Religion is in practice. Religion is in realization, as Swami Vivekananda said. It's not in theory. It's not in dogmas or doctrines. It is to be practiced. Whatever is nitya vastu, we are to follow that. And the second is, whatever is anitya, nitya anitya vastu vivekastavat brahmaiva nityam vastu, Brahman alone, the substratum, that means the highest common factor, that is only nitya vastu. All other temporary. If we understand this correctly, then half of the battle is won. But we think we understand, but we don't understand. We fight for same trifles, even after listening so many times. It is because we don't understand. That is why to be stressed over and over again. So nitya vastu, God alone is real. Here, there is no equivalent of Brahman, so God. But in Vedanta, God means with attributes. When one is conditioned, but Brahman is unconditioned, without any adjuncts, any limiting adjunct. So, nitya vastu. Brahmaiva nityam vastu tato anyat akhilam anityam iti vivechanam. Then, anitya vastu, whatever is anitya, even uh, the name and fame, money, lust and greed, all these are anitya. Therefore, one has to have viraga. Viraga means not interested. Raga means ranj dhatu. That means it colors. And when one's mind is not colored by this, then that is called viraga. Totally detached, not interested. So when we are traveling, we are not interested in other turns. Only we go to certain um, ways to reach our destination. Then comes Shamadamadi Shat Sampatti. So Shama, controlling of inner senses. First inner sense. When control of inner senses is attained, then only one tries or one can control outer sense. Why it is so? It is like source. First source should be stopped. Like if there is a drain, if you keep on cleaning the outer side, but it is not clean because the source is not cleared or cleaned. That is why first the inner control. Inner control, yes, control of inner senses. And then shamastavat shravanadi vetirikta vishayabhya manaso nigraha. So mentally one has to, that means one should engage one's mind with God or Brahman or what is Nitya Vastu or what is highest common factor, what is the source. And Dhamma, that means controlling of outer senses. Once the inner senses are controlled, then one can easily control outer senses. Now, after that, nivartitanam etesham tad vyatirikta vishayabhyo paramanam. So, once someone has controlled his inner and outer senses, then one can totally withdraw from the objects of the world. Upariti is the cessation of these external organs, so restrained from the pursuit of objects other than that, or it may mean the abandonment of the prescribed works according to scriptural injunctions. So here, because it is definition as I mentioned, so here both ways have been mentioned. One is what it means, and another is what this withdrawal means. Even it should be done as per the institution, as per the prescribed method. It is not one may think because of his whims. This is my way, not that. There is a prescribed method, so one should follow that. So, tad vyatirikta vishay means shravana, manana, nididhyasana. Except this, he should not indulge in other things. So one should hear over and over again what is nitya vastu, what is, and he should not be interested in anitya vastu. And hearing over and over again gives an impression on his mind. And when that impression is strong enough, that is the intense incentive to practice that truth. Therefore, one has that total withdrawal of senses. It is easier said than done, but in devotion that is possible. Suppose you are singing the glories of God, or you are reciting the name of Lord over and over again, over and over again. A time comes when mind is not at all attached with anything else, but it is attached with God alone. So that state, That's why it is easily doable by bhakti marg. Only rational thinking may not help. So wherever it is possible, we can take bhakti. That's why our gurus have instructed us that recite the name of Lord. As we recite the name of Lord, we concentrate on Him. And that gradually withdraws the mind from other senses. And that is why devotion to God is very important. Devotion. That means mind has no other dwelling place but God. And same thing when one is dealing in this world also. Because then he should see that the whole world is nothing else but reflection of God, manifestation of God. So this way one can withdraw the senses from objects. Otherwise, rationality is well nigh impossible. Only very few, very rare, someone can do it. Only with rationality. Why it is so? Because mind analyzes, that means mind function will be there, pros and cons. But with devotion, with one-pointed devotion to God, one can withdraw this. So wherever it is possible, we should use devotion. That for us, we ordinary people, that will be easier than only rationalization. And the second meaning he said that one should formally renounce. That's why the institution of sannyasa was conceived. But it is not necessary for everyone to follow the institution of sannyasa. That's why vihitanam karmanam vidhina parityagaha. Vidhina means as it is prescribed by the shastras, the scriptures, scriptural injunctions. So, we are ordinary, we cannot do that way. Therefore, what we have to do, that we have to try to concentrate on our Ishta, our chosen ideal. Now next is Titiksha. We have to read from the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. David, are you there? David? Are you muted?
Hello, Swami. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so, yeah, read from Swamiji.
Okay. I'm reading from Reason and Religion. A sage called Narada went to another sage named Sanat Kumara to learn about truth, and Sanat Kumara inquired what he had studied already. Narada answered that he'd studied the Vedas, astronomy, and various other things, yet he had got no satisfaction. Then there was a conversation between the two, in the course of which Sanat Kumara remarked that all this knowledge of the Vedas, of astronomy, and of philosophy was but secondary. Sciences were but secondary. That which made us realize the Brahman was the supreme, the highest knowledge. This idea we find in every religion. And that is why religion always claimed to be supreme knowledge. Knowledge of the sciences covers, as it were, only part of our lives. But the knowledge which religion brings to us is eternal, is as infinite as the truth it preaches. Claiming this superiority, religions have many times looked down, unfortunately,
Just a
on all...
minute, just a minute. Narada just mentioned what he knew. And he enumerated all Vedas, Vedangas and everything. But what Sanat Kumar said, that all these are aparavidya. Narada did not know the supreme reality. So there are two vidyas. One is apara vidya, lower truth, and para means supreme truth. So all this what we are studying, even Vedas are apara vidya, but by which one knows the highest. Yaya tat aksharam adhigamyati, sa para. So by which one knows that supreme being, supreme existence, supreme entity, that is paravidya, supreme knowledge. All else, atha apara, there the list is all others are apara. Why? Because it is of this objective world, that by which one understands, one realizes, not understand, one realizes the supreme truth. That alone is paravidya, supreme knowledge. All others, science still it is outside. Even Veda, say Upanishads. Upanishads talks about the Brahman. So if you take the wordings, that also is apara. But when one achieves that supreme truth, that only paravidya. So Narada enumerated and made a list what he knew. He knew almost everything, except he did not know the supreme truth. That is why Sanat Kumar said that it is not enough. Yes. So let me see. That which made us realize the Brahman was the supreme, the highest knowledge. That which made us realize the Brahman was the supreme, the highest knowledge. So this is, Swamiji indicates that it is in all religions, but it is not understood even. It may be in religions, but people go for dogmas and doctrines. My God alone is real, all else are false. False God. So this way, for some people it may entertain, it may serve the purpose. But those who are inquirers, they are not satisfied with this. Rather, they want to know that supreme truth. So, yeah, go ahead.
Claiming this superiority, religions have many times looked down, unfortunately, on all secular knowledge. And not only so, but many times have refused to be justified by the aid of secular knowledge. In consequence, all the world over, there have been fights between secular knowledge and religious knowledge, the one claiming infallible authority as its guide, refusing to listen to anything that secular knowledge has to say on the point. The other, with its shining instrument of reason, wanting to cut to pieces everything religion could bring forward. This fight has been and is still waged in every country. Religions have been again and again defeated and almost exterminated. The worship of the goddess of reason during the French Revolution was not the first manifestation of that phenomenon in the history of humanity. It was a reenactment of what had happened in ancient times, but in modern times it has assumed greater proportions. The physical sciences are better equipped now than formerly, and religions have become less and less equipped. The foundations have been all undermined, and the modern man, whatever he may say in public, knows in the privacy of his heart that he can no more believe. Believing certain things because an organized body of priests tell him to believe. Believing because it is written in certain books. Believing because his people like him to believe. The modern man knows to be impossible for him. There are, of course, a number of people who seem to acquiesce in the so-called popular faith, but we also know for certain that they do not think. Their idea of belief may be better translated as not thinking carelessness. This fight cannot last much longer without breaking to pieces all the buildings of religion.
So, like this, in, a, in the retreat also, people asked, can one day this intelligence or consciousness about that question was that can we achieve this consciousness through physical entity? It cannot be achieved through physical entity. As Sri Ramakrishna said, that physical science, what it does, if you add something, what it comes up, and if you deduct something, what something else forms. So all these are in objective world. It is not physical, and it is not achievable by any physical means. So, what Swamiji indicated here, gradually the physical science got emanation. That means it got various instruments to show subtler and subtler things. But whereas religion lost, or it is the religion has not given enough attention there. Just you have to believe. Why you believe? Even don't know why you should believe. Or maybe it is convenient, as I told that story. Somebody lost a ring in one place, in Kumbh Mela. And it was very crowded. So what to do? He wanted to search. Where to search? See, he found another pond. He started searching there. And some people came and said, "Dear sir, what are you doing?" "I am searching my ring." So they also wanted to help and they started searching. But one good man came. He said, "Sir, can you tell me where you lost it?" He said, "Oh, that place, but it's very crowded. So here it is very convenient, so I am searching." So religious beliefs are like that. Because it is convenient, we try to search there, but it cannot be found there. It is within us, and it is not achievable by ordinary means, any physical means. Rather, one should try to figure out, leaving aside all temporary, all transient things. So, religion must be invigorated on these points, that here we are searching something which cannot be found in objective world. Rather, it is the subject who is searching. One should find that. So that is what Swami said. Yeah.
The question is there a way out? To put it in a more concrete form, is religion to justify itself by the discoveries of reason through which every other science justifies itself? Are the same methods of investigation, which we apply to sciences and knowledge outside, to be applied to the science of religion? In my opinion, this must be so, and I am also of the opinion that the sooner it is done, the better. If a religion is destroyed by such investigations, it was then all the time useless, unworthy superstition, and the sooner it goes, the better. I am thoroughly convinced that its destruction would be the best thing that could happen. All that is dross will be taken off, no doubt, but the essential parts of religion will emerge triumphant out of this investigation. Not only will it be made scientific at least as any of the conclusions of physics or chemistry, but will have greater strength, because physics or chemistry has no internal mandate to vouch for its truth, which religion has.
See, here what Swamiji is saying, that science takes evidence. This is true. Why? because this has evidence. Similarly, we must take something in religion where there is evidence. But people say that what you are exploring, there is no evidence. But it is evident. Why? Because it is the person who is exploring. The person himself is the evidence. He does not require any outer evidence. So one should be strong enough to find this evidence and to find that if he has to abandon all beliefs, he should do that. That's why Swami said that even it is better to get destroyed, like all the religious thoughts. To put it in a more concrete form, is religion to justify itself by the discoveries of reason, through which every other science justifies itself? Are the same methods of investigation. So, method of investigation, here also it is very logical. Logic helps to find the truth, but ultimately logic falls short of it. Why? Because logic is in the sense of duality, in the sense of objective world. So, in the beginning, it is good. Why? It's like policeman. It will stop ruffians, but ultimately policeman also will be short of it. So, Swami said, so as I am also of opinion that the sooner it is done, the better. In my opinion, this must, Swamiji said, which we apply are the same methods of investigation which we apply to sciences and knowledge outside to be applied to the science of religion. In my opinion, this must be so. So we are to apply our reason. And I am also of opinion that the sooner it is done, the better. See, most of the conflict is because of belief. Somebody says, my religion is the best, and others are no religion. So that is not good. If a religion is destroyed by such investigations, it was then all the time useless, unworthy, superstition. So it should stand the reason. The religion must stand reason. After that, one can go beyond reason, because it is even not in the realm of reason. It was then all the time useless, unworthy, superstition, and the sooner it goes, the better. I am thoroughly convinced that its destruction would be that the best thing that could happen. For those who are exploring truth, it is true. So ordinary people may not be able to do that. And for them, there must be some sustenance. So generally, people have certain kind of faith that that is in the beginning it is good, but that may not lead to the highest goal. All that is dross will be taken off, no doubt, but the essential parts of religion will emerge triumphant out of this investigation. Not only will it be made scientific, at least as any of the conclusions of physics or chemistry, but will have greater strength because physics or chemistry has no internal mandate to vouch for its truth, which religion has. So religion has one thing, that the highest truth is there, on which everything exists. It is the substratum, whereas the exploratory or the investigation that we do in science, it is of combination and recombination or like that. So there is nothing substratum there. I mean, what it means, we whatever we discover today, after certain time it may be uh, taken as false. If something higher is discovered. So previously it is Newtonian theory. Now after that Einstein came and the things changed totally. So this will go on. This happens in new discoveries. So anyway, go ahead.
People who deny the efficacy of any rationalistic investigation into religion seem to me somewhat to be contradicting themselves. For instance, the Christian claims that his religion is the only true one because it was revealed to so-and-so. The Mohammedan makes the same claim for his religion. His is the only true one because it was revealed to so-and-so. But the Christian says to the Mohammedan, certain parts of your ethics do not seem to be right. For instance, your books say, my Mohammedan friend, that an infidel may be converted to the religion of Muhammad by force, and if he will not accept the Mohammedan religion, he may be killed. And any Mohammedan who kills such an infidel will get a sure entry into heaven, whatever may have been his sins or misdeeds. That Mohammedan will retort by saying, it is right for me to do so because my book enjoins it. It will be wrong on my part not to do so. The Christian says, but my book does not say so. The Mohammedan replies, I do not know. I'm not bound by the authority of your book. My book says kill all the infidels. How do you know which is right and which is wrong? Surely what is written in my book is right, and what your book says, do not kill, is wrong. You also say the same thing, my Christian friend. You say that what Jehovah declared to the Jews is right to do, and what he forbade them to do is wrong. So say I, Allah declared in my book that certain things should be done, and that certain things should not be done. And that is all the test of right and wrong. In spite of that, the Christian is not satisfied. He insists on a comparison of the morality of the Sermon on the Mount with the morality of the Quran. How is this to be decided? Certainly not by the books, because the books, fighting between themselves, cannot be the judges. Decidedly, then, we have to admit there is something more universal than these books, something higher than all the ethical codes that are in the world, something which can judge between the strength of inspirations of different nations. Whatever we declare, whether we declare it boldly, clearly, or not, it is evident that here we appeal to reason.
Yeah, so reason should be applied. Through reason we understand what is good, what is not good. Say even for purchasing something, we compare, we apply our reasons. So that is why reason must be there. So ihamutra phala bhog virag and nitya nitya vastu vivek. So vivek is very important. So reason is very important. Only thing, reason has its limitation. After certain time, reason stops. But in religion, still one go ahead to find the truth. So anyway, we go to the next is titiksha. What is that? Shitoshnadis dandva shaishnuta. But Shankaracharya has given a better definition. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam. That means forbearance, forbearing all kinds of sorrows, miseries. Sahanam sarva dukkhana. Apratikar purvakam, without any murmur, without any retaliatory or revenge action, or even correcting actions. Chinta vilaparahitam, without any wails or weeping. or complaining. Chinta vilaprahitam. That is titiksha. Why it is so? Titiksha means forbearance. One should have that forbearance. But what happens in our day to day life? If somebody does not return our wish, we say, oh, he's too rude. So, this is, religion is in practice. How we practice in our day to day life, that is important. Many times we will be insulted. We have to solve that. Because if you go on fighting, then you spend your resources. You engage yourself in trifles. That is why even someone is insulted, he should not react. Say, the example is Sri Ramakrishna. Somebody came and kicked him, but he did not bother about it. Because his goal is not for that. One should not get disturbed. So I say like this, you are walking and on your way somebody sneezes. Are you affected by it? No. So we have to think that somebody is sneezing. And it is natural that people will sneeze. But nowadays, because of COVID, everybody is afraid. And if someone sneezes, then one gets 10 feet away from him. So, what is the purpose? That we should conserve our energy. We should not dissipate our energy in fighting. Even correcting. It is useless. It's very difficult to correct a person. It's not possible. Even say nowadays the fight is going on. What is happening in Middle East? So, it's very painful, but at least we have to correct ourselves. That is too extreme, and for that nature will take care of. But what we have to do in our day-to-day life is to conserve our energy and direct that energy, channelize that energy to right purpose. Why we are here? It is not to just fight back. Rather, we are here to build our character, to discover our real self. So that is very important. That's why titiksha is very important. See, Holy Mother. So Holy Mother is somebody, a crazy lady, even threw or beat her. After beaten, Mother said nothing. Rather, she took dust of her feet and put on that lady. Because Holy Mother knew if she is angry, nobody can save her. But out of compassion, she blessed her. And it is not new. In so many places this happens like this. Sri Krishna tolerated, say, 100 times. Shishupal insulted him 100 times. And because there was, it was the Shishupal's mother who requested that please forgive him up 100 times. But after that, what happened? Sri Krishna killed him, but he absorbed Shishupal in his body. It is his reflection. It is not because of enmity that he was killed. It is because he was thinking God in that form. And that's why Shishupal also was a reflection of God and ultimately got merged in God. So titiksha, we find even battlefield, lots of people, they fight, they can forbear lots of pain. Even at the time of training, they undergo so much of difficult training that they are to forbear. Torture, because they practice that way. When an enemy might uh, arrest them, whatever torture they would undergo, same thing is practiced. So in battle, we see like this. And in the life of Karna, we find his guru was lying down, keeping his head on his thigh, Guru Parshuram. And at that time, an insect came and bitten him. But because he did not want to disturb his guru's sleep, he did not say anything. When his guru was awake, he saw blood on his thigh. Then he asked what happened. Then he said an insect had bitten him. Then he could understand, Parshuram could understand that he was a Kshatriya. Other people cannot forbear so much. So this is not only mythological, but in our lives also we see. Say Swami Gambhiranandji had stomach pain, but he put a pillow and was writing and translating. When Swami Chaitananji asked why you are doing so, why not taking rest, he said, when I do Swamiji's work, it gives me strength. I forget it. So this, not only warrior class, but monks also have such kind of titiksha. So sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam. Forbearing all kinds of difficulties, miseries, without any murmur, without any reaction, and without any wailing. Chinta vila prahitam sati tiksha nigaddati. Now we go to the next. That's samadhanam. Nighritasya manasaha shravanado tad anuguna vishaye cha samadhi samadhanam. What is samadhan? Samadhan is the constant concentration of the mind, thus restrained on hearing, etc. That means Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So we can take example of a devotee. When one is merged in the singing or meditation on God, he forgets outside world. That means he is aware of his Ishta alone and nothing else. So samadhana is the constant concentration of the mind. Because it is kind of definition, so this definition is given. So nighritasya manasa, that means mind when restrained. Sravanado, that means whatever he heard, that Brahman alone is real. I am that Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. So this, he meditates in such a fashion that he forgets all other things. Even his body, mind, everything he forgets. Tad anuguna vishaye cha samadhi. Only that I am Brahman. Sri Ramakrishna was absorbed in Advaita Bhava, non-dualistic state. For 6 months, he forgot that he has a body. A monk came, nobody knew from where. And he used to force Sri Ramakrishna to eat something, sometimes by beating, sometimes convincing him. But Sri Ramakrishna was not able to even think that he was a body, or he has a body. He's totally in that sense. So, Shravanadi Vinisha is hearing that I am Brahman, and one totally concentrates on that. Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. Tadanuguna Vishecha Samadhi. That is Samadhi. Samadhana is the constant concentration of the mind, thus restrained on hearing, etc., of the scriptural passages and other objects. We can understand from a devotee's standpoint. One is reciting the mantra and so absorbed that he is oblivious of outside world. So that is samadhana. Now Shraddha, what is Shraddha? Gurupadishta Vedanta Vakyeshu Vishwasa. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhya Avadharanam. That whatever Shastra says is real. Because Shraddha is important until or unless that Shraddha comes, one cannot achieve. That is why we find in Upanishad that Nachiketa Shraddha Vivesha. Shraddha was to him, Shraddha Avivesha, that means Shraddha came to him. That is why he saw that his father was giving cows, old cows to Brahmins. He thought it is not good, but he did not object directly. So what he said? To whom are you giving me? So that his father comes to senses. But his father was angry and maybe he beat him or whatever. He said, I give you to Yama. So Shraddha Vivesha. Shraddha is very important. Shraddha does not argue, rather finds what the solution is, what the path is. Shraddha is very important. Why? Because of that one-pointed faith, one-pointed devotion, that what Shastra says and what Guru says is right. And then he tries to find the rational understanding of that. So that sa shraddha katitha sadbhir yaya vastu palabhyate. That is shraddha by which one attains the highest truth or vastu, the Brahma vastu. So shraddha is the faith in the truths of Vedanta as taught by the Guru. Like there are so many interpretations. And munde matir bhinna. Every head has got different understanding and different explanation. But a disciple takes whatever his or her tradition has said, that one follows. That is taken. So that Shraddha is very important. And the final is mukshescha, mumukshutvam. Mumukshutta is the yearning for spiritual freedom. Yearning. That is why Sri Ramakrishna says Vyakulata. In Vyakulata we find all four kinds of qualities which are important for an aspirant. Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, Ihamutra Phalabhog Virag, Shamadamadi Shat Sampatti, and Mumukshutta. All comes when one is Vyakul. Because we are not Vyakula, that is why we need to rationalize. But if someone has got deep faith in the words of Guru, then one achieves all these qualities. And mokshecha. So mumukshutva is the yearning for spiritual freedom. Now here, especially in Vaishnavism, they say that it is despised there, mumukshutva. That we don't want mukti. What we want love of God. Actually, love of God is mukti. One is not limited anymore. But what they say is the same thing what this mumukshutva is. Total love, total merging of this limited self to higher self. So that is mumukshutva. He doesn't want anything else. Rather, um, he wants only God. See, even even the gopis, they wanted Krishna and nothing else. That is what is required. And that is what is mumukshutva. That we don't want anything. They want love of God. So evam bhutah pramata adhikari. So this is pramata. This is a competent student. A student who has requisite qualities to study Vedanta. And it is how he has deciphered that, because Brihad Upanishad says Shanto Danta Ityadi Shrute. That means Prashanta Chittaya Jitendriyaya Cha Shanto Danto Tasmadeva Vichanto Dantah Uparatah Titikshu Samahito Bhutva Atmannevatmanam Pashyati. So from here he has taken Tasmat, therefore, Evam Vichanto, Evam with Shantah. So Evam with means this kind, this prakar. Evam with, like this. Shantah, who has controlled his inner senses. Dantah, Dama, who has controlled his outer senses. Uparata titikshu samahitah bhutva. Atmaneva atmana pashyati. So one attains the self in one's own self. And these are the definitions that he has explained here. And in Upadesha Shastri, this principle is presented like this: Prashanta Chittaya Jitendriyaya Cha, whose mind has quietened and who has controlled his senses, and he who has reduced his defects, Prahina Doshaya, and Yathokta Karine, whatever he says, he does that. He walks the talk. Gunannitaya, and who has qualities, Gunannitaya. Anugataya Sarvada, Pradeyam Etat Satatam Mumukshave. So this knowledge is to be given to such a person who is striving for freedom. Such an aspirant is a qualified student, for it is said in the Shruti passage, quite subdued, etc. It is further said, this is always to be taught to one who is of tranquil mind, who has subjugated his senses, who is free from faults, obedient, endowed with virtues, always submissive, and who is constantly eager for liberation. So liberation does not mean that he wants to achieve something. He wants to get rid of this bondage. We are to understand this way, that as of now we feel bound. So this bondage should be shaken off. And Vedanta says this is because of our misunderstanding. Actually, we are not bound at all. So with the knowledge of Vedanta, we get that our original state. We don't get anything new. Whatever we have, we get that situation. Because we don't feel that way, that we are not free. We feel that we are not free. So we want to be free. Free means our original state. It's not that we are achieving something, we are getting something outside of the world. No. In our natural, we want to go back to our natural state. Natural state. So this is mumukshutva. And this is the qualities of a qualified student. A person who can study this. A person who has these requisite qualities. Now comes the next Vishaya. What is that subject matter? Jiva Brahmaikyam Shuddha Chaitanyam Prameyam Tatra Eva Vedantanam Tatparyat. The subject is the identity of individual self and Brahman. So individual is Atman and Supreme Brahman is Paramatman. So these are not two. These are two expressions of the same entity. It is the same. So Jiva Brahma Aikyam, that is the subject matter. What we are going to study is this. Jiva Brahma Aikyam. Unity of Jiva and Brahma. They are not separate. As of now we think what? I am limited. And who has created this huge world? He is unlimited. So it is apparently two different entities. Like a river and the ocean. But if we see the content of things, it is the same water. So we have to see the content and we have to realize that this limiting adjunct is only apparent. It is not real. So Jiva Brahma Aikyam Shuddha Chaitanyam Prameyam. The subject is the identity of the individual self and Brahman, which is of the nature of pure intelligence. Shuddha Chaitanya. Shuddha Chaitanya. And Sri Ramakrishna said, Shuddha Atma, Shuddha Buddhi and Shuddha Man. These are not three entities, rather it is one and the same thing. When mind is pure, mind becomes no mind. It merges in the self. Similarly, pure intelligence. Pure intelligence. As of now, we have intelligence, but it is not pure. It has so many other impurities. Mind also, that's why it is vacillating all the time. It's fickle. So, Shuddha Chaitanyam Prameyam, nature of pure intelligence, and is to be realized. For such is the purport of the Vedanta text. So this is the purport. This is the Tatparya. That is the object, or this is the goal. What is the goal? To find unity of Jivatma and Paramatma, or Jiva and Brahma. And this will be explained in the text how they are not two different entities. Yes. So we'll stop here. Is there any question?
Swamiji,
Yes.
on the Samadhana
Eh?
point, on Samadhana,
Samadhi.
yes, okay, so I know that you're talking about the Vedanta, the 6 months when he was in Samadhi the whole time.
Not that Samadhi. That's unity is achieved. But here Samadhanam. Samadhanam. So Samadhan is being, what is that? Samadhana is the constant concentration. That means mind is dwelling. Still mind is there. But as Sri Ramakrishna merges himself and he attains samadhi, their mind is no more. Mind is merged in the self. But here you can see, samyak adhiyati, samadhana. That means the whole mind is dwelling on God. And in a one-pointed devotion, we can say. Shravanado tad anuguna vishaya. That means whatever you heard, that I am Brahman, I am Brahman. So mind cogitates that only, or mind holds that only. So that is samadhanam. Here it is a different kind of thing. This is the definition of samadhanam. That means mind has hold on this truth, whatever you heard in Shravana, that I am Brahman, aham brahmasmi. So this mind takes and nothing else. Still mind is there. But that samadhi, what Sri Ramakrishna attains, mind merges in the self. That's why he, after coming out of that, Sri Ramakrishna would say, when I utter Om, I have come down 100 cubits. Then only he could utter Om. We can understand this way. Say in our deep sleep, there is no vacillation. How it happens? Our mind merges in the self, no doubt, but still it is with ignorance. But think of that. When mind merges in the self, when it is wide awake, with consciousness, conscious alone remains. There is no two. Whereas here, it is the still mind is there. Okay.
Can I put it to you like in a certain way? So for like you think of like a banker thinks of everything in terms of economics, like, oh, if I have a kid, it's going to be like this, or the war, they see it in terms of money. So for me, like if I just try to see the world and my interactions and stuff in the view of through the lens of God, is that sort of like a starting place for somebody like where I'm at?
I said one thing. I could not understand the whole, what you are saying, but I think this is what you want. Our path is devotion. Our path is devotion. So as you recite the name of God, try to merge in that. That Ishta, as we recite the name and contemplate the meaning of it, and try to hold that form. If you can hold that form and the indication that the mantra places, tad japas tadartha bhavanam. That means whatever you do japa, you should have that meaning understood. And if you can hold that, that is samadhan. It is not that you have achieved, but this is the steps to achieve that. So our path is devotion. Here I am Brahman, we don't say that like that. What we do, we have a definite mantra, we have to recite that mantra and try to understand what is the meaning of it. And try to hold that form so that mind dwells only on the form of Ishta. Gradually what will happen? You will forget that you are separate. Your separate entity will be forgotten But when you totally identify with him, that is samadhi. But here you'll forget that you are different from him. Again it will come out. As you come out, that sense again will come. So this is samadhana here. So for us, we are devotees, taking the name of God and dwelling on the meaning of it and holding the form. That is our sadhana. I hope this is what you wanted to, right?
Yes, thank you, Swamiji.
Yeah. Okay, we say our prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Jai Ma.